This is the BenQ X3100i I've been using, and I came in with two big questions. Would the extra brightness ruin black levels in a dark room, and could it really feel as quick as a gaming monitor? After living with it for gaming nights and movie sessions, I have a clear picture of where it shines and where it compromises. The X3100i looks like a modern cube, white body with a black face and a pop of orange around the lens. It feels substantial and stable on a table or shelf, not something I'd carry around. The vents are big and purposeful, and the manual controls are my favorite thing about the build. There's a smooth dial for focus and zoom, and most importantly, a top dial for vertical lens shift. Lens shift is a physical way to move the image up and down without tilting the projector. That matters because tilting usually forces you to use Keystone correction, which is a digital fix that softens detail and can add delay. Key features that helped me set up fast were the 1.3x optical zoom, a flexible throw range, and that generous lens shift. So I got a clean, perfectly rectangular image without touching Keystone. On the back, the ports are what I need for a gaming setup. Two HDMI inputs handle all my sources, with eARC on HDMI 2 for sending full-quality audio to my soundbar or AVR. There's optical out, USB for power and updates, and a hidden internal HDMI slot that houses the included Android TV dongle so it stays tucked out of sight. The whole layout is simple and practical. From my experience, setup was straightforward. I dropped it on a rear shelf, dialed in focus and zoom, and used the lens shift to center the image on my screen. No wobbly stacks of books, no weird angles, and no Keystone. I fired it up in a living room with lights on, and the 3300 ANSI Lumens made a huge difference. Brightness lifts color and detail, so the image doesn't wash out. And the 4-LED engine has punchy, stable color with quick on-off. For gaming, I tried two main paths. On PC, 1080p at 240Hz felt razor fast. The stated 4.2 milliseconds response at that setting lines up with what I felt in shooters. Aim, click, result. No second guessing. 1440p 120Hz was similarly snappy, and motion looked clean. On PS5, I leaned on 4K 60 for visual clarity. It cannot do native 4K 120 because the HDMI ports are 2.0B, so I had to pick either resolution or high frame rate, not both at once. In my opinion, if you care more about fluidity, use 1080p 120. If you want sharper detail, go 4K 60. That choice is normal for projectors today, but worth knowing. Movies and shows tell a different story. In a dark room, black levels are the weak spot. HDR looks colorful and bright, and the HDR-PRO tone mapping does a good job handling highlights without the picture breathing up and down. But the native black floor sits higher than cinema projectors, so shadow scenes look more dark gray than inky black. In a bright or mixed light room, that's much less obvious, and the overall picture has great pop because the luminance and color volume are so strong. Audio surprised me. The built-in stereo is clear and gets loud enough for casual use, though bass is light. The better play is eARC. I ran a single HDMI cable to my receiver, passed through Dolby Atmos, and it just worked. That's a big win for anyone building a clean living room setup. I didn't bother with Bluetooth audio for gaming because wireless delay can throw off timing. The Android TV dongle is convenient and officially supports Netflix, Prime Video, Disney+, and the usual apps, with Chromecast and AirPlay for casting. It works, but it's slow compared to an Apple TV or a fast Google TV box. Menus lag, app switching can stutter, and the UI feels less responsive than the hardware deserves. I ended up plugging in my own external streamer for day-to-day use. Fan noise is there. In brighter picture modes, it's noticeable in quiet scenes, and in eco, it settles down a bit. During gaming with sound up, I mostly forget about it. If you're super sensitive in silent movies, you'll hear the fans. Key features that stood out for me are the low latency at 1080p 240Hz, the bright 4-LED engine with strong color, the practical lens shift that saves me from Keystone, and eARC for clean, high-quality audio. The gaming presets are actually useful, too. FPS mode raises shadow detail, so enemies don't disappear in dark corners, and the RPG and racing modes add some style without wrecking accuracy. There's also a crosshair overlay if you want it, and a PC utility for sharing game-specific settings. From my experience, those tweaks are fun to play with and easy to disable when I want a neutral picture. I like how this projector puts gaming first without making movies unwatchable. Motion is smooth, input response is instant at high frame rates, and color looks alive without going cartoonish. The brightness gives me a big, punchy image with the lights on, which is how I actually use a living room projector most of the time. The physical controls make setup feel pro, even on a simple shelf mount. eARC ties the whole system together with one cable, And that's the kind of small quality of life thing I notice every day. It's perfect for a mixed-use space where you play games, stream shows, and don't want to black out the room. I do have reservations. Black levels aren't for cinephiles chasing that deep, velvety shadow detail in a dedicated dark theater. The Android TV experience is slow, so an external streamer is the easy fix. And if your must-have is native 4K 120 on a console, you won't get it here. I'd recommend this for PC gamers who want 1080p 240 or 440p 120, and for console players who are happy with 4K 60 or 1080p 120 performance modes. In my opinion, that's the honest sweet spot. In conclusion, the BenQ X3100i nails the core job of a gaming projector. Fast response, bright and vivid picture, and flexible placement that avoids quality-killing Keystone. It trades deep blacks for brightness, and it trades slick built-in streaming for reliable performance and color. If you play in a living room or media space and you want a huge screen that feels as responsive as a monitor, this checks the right boxes. If your top priority is darkroom movie perfection, you might want a different tool. I'm keeping it in my setup because it fits how I actually watch and play. I will share detailed information about the BenQ X3100i in the comments section, everyone. Thank you for watching.